I had another vivid dream the other night, and every time I have a vivid dream, I'm always trying to figure out where am I and why am I here. I don't know why I feel like I got to be informed of what my dream is about to be about before I get there, but I do. Do your vivid dreams feel almost real? This wasn't just any dream, a dream that I went to ChatGPT to interpret, and after I read the answer, it highlighted something inside of me that I didn't even know was still holding me back. Welcome back to another episode of the Powerfully You podcast. I'm your host, Sharitha, and today we're going deep again because I'm a deep person. I had another vivid dream the other night, and every time I have a vivid dream, I'm always trying to figure out where am I and why am I here. I don't know why I feel like I got to be informed of what my dream is about to be about before I get there, but I do. Do your vivid dreams feel almost real? This wasn't just any dream, a dream that I went to ChatGPT to interpret, and after I read the answer, it highlighted something inside of me that I didn't even know was still holding me back, that I consciously never thought bothered me on a soul level. You ever have a dream that feels less like a story and more like a message? While in this dream, I couldn't understand the significance of it until ChatGPT told me. Then it all made sense. Has your dreams felt like your soul is sitting you down to tell you the truth? A truth you didn't even know was holding you back? That was this. And today I'm going to share it with you. I want us to walk through this dream interpretation together because I believe there's a part of this dream that belongs to you too. In the dream, I was at a school. It was me, my daughter, and my granddaughter. We went into this room and it had tall ceilings like the ones in the old buildings. And right away, I was confused. Then I saw older men in the front who were running things. They weren't just teachers, they were authority figures. And they were teaching young men. It felt like a room full of men. And we walked to the back of the room because the class was already in session. We were tucked way in the back, watching, waiting, silent. How many of you grew up sitting in rooms like that? Not literally, but spiritually, where you learned how to stay small, how to not rock the boat, how to make yourself easy, quiet, good. So we're sitting there, and my daughter, she needs to use the restroom. She stands up and starts to walk to the door. And then she got to the door and they stopped her. They said, "No, you have to wait." Have you ever been told to wait on your basic needs? To wait for permission to take care of yourself? Maybe not in those exact words, but emotionally, spiritually, I bet a lot of you have. And let me tell you, something inside of me got mad as hell. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't polite. I stood up with my granddaughter on my hip and I walked straight to that door. I looked those men dead in their eyes and my hand was pointed in their face and I said, "Hell no. If she got to go, she got to go right now." I didn't ask. I didn't beg. I didn't soften my tone to make them feel comfortable. I said what needed to be said, how it needed to be said. And you know what? The next thing I know, we started walking back to our seats. No fight, no more questions. We just sat down. But then, sitting back in my chair, that old feeling crept in, guilt. That voice that said, maybe I could have handled it differently. Maybe she should have asked to go to the restroom. Maybe I was too aggressive. Isn't that crazy? Even when we're protecting our loved ones, even when we're honoring our own boundaries, we've been conditioned to question our power, to feel bad for being loud, to feel bad for being firm, to feel bad for not following the rules that were never made for us anyway. And here's another part of the dream that hit me after I woke up. In real life, my granddaughter is 8 years old now. She is not a baby anymore. She doesn't need to be carried on my hip. But in that dream, I was holding her like she was a toddler. Spirit was asking me, what are you still carrying that you no longer need to? Who are you still carrying? Trying to protect, trying to save. Even though it's time to set them and yourself free. The more I prepared for the podcast, the more I realized there was something I was holding on that was bothering me on the soul level. I'm afraid that if I let go of things will be worse. And then I will feel guilty because I wasn't there to help. Sometimes we carry the emotional burdens for our families that need to be let go. They need to learn their own lessons on their own terms. We are just delaying the consequences for the choices they refuse to make. We need to stop caring more about our loved ones' burdens than they do about their bad behaviors and choices. We tend to care more because we can see the self destruction and we are trying to prevent them from causing more pain into themselves. But they have to care more about themselves than we do. And that can be hard for both. I want to ask you today, where in your life are you still waiting for permission? Where are you still asking if it's okay to stand up? Where are you still carrying something or someone long after it's necessary? Where in your life is a divine asking you to let go? Maybe it's an old story. Maybe it's guilt that doesn't belong to you. Maybe it's a role you were given before you even had a choice. It's time to lay it down. It's time to honor the woman or the man you've become, not the little girl or boy who had to survive, who feels like if I'm not using my mental energy to worry and care about my loved ones who are struggling, then no one will be there for them. That is no longer your burden to carry. It belongs to your loved ones. Standing up for ourselves may not feel nice. It may not always look polished, but it is powerful. It's holy. And sometimes it is necessary. ser- And sometimes it is necessary to get loud, to get real, to get uncomfortable, to protect the most sacred parts of ourselves and the next generations coming after us. You're not too much. You're not wrong. You are the first to say enough. Thank you for sitting with me today, my loves. Thank you for being willing to go there, to the places inside of you that still ache, to the places that still whisper, be small, be good, be quiet. But today we said no more. We stood up for the parts of us that were never meant to be silenced. And if your hands are still shaky, if your heart is still heavy, that is okay. Healing is messy. Healing is brave. You are becoming powerfully you. And we are just getting started because next week we're going to go even deeper. In the next episode, we're talking about the cost of being too much and what happens when the world punishes you for loving too deeply, for feeling too hard, for refusing to shrink yourself just to fit in someone else's limits. We're going to crack open the wounds of being unseen, betrayed, and punished for the very thing that made you beautiful all along. And together, we're going to start reclaiming that power because you were never too much. They were never ready for you. So make sure you subscribe. I'll meet you right back here next week. Until then, keep standing, keep speaking, keep healing out loud.